You know what? Today is your birthday. It's already June 9. Hey everyone, welcome to the vlog. Today is actually my second born's 4th birthday. The reason why I'm vlogging his birthday is because first, of course, I want to celebrate him. He's such a wonderful kid. But also secondly, when I was trying to think about ano ba yung mga natutunan ko sa second born ko, I realized that these were things that I could very well share with others. Are you guys ready? Because on my second born's 4th birthday, I want to share with you 4 things that I learned from a little kid. First, family heals. One of the most striking revelations I've encountered last year was the fact that this is a study, that I read in a book called The Body Keeps a Score. And if I'm not mistaken, it was like a study in the psychological world na families who come from abused homes, like abusive homes. So, kunwari mo, like there might be instances of like domestic violence, or even sexual. Even when they come from a place like that, when they are threatened outside of their homes, will automatically run back to their families, their homes. Why? Because inherently, I think we are designed to find a safe space, a healing space in our families. Sadly, that is not the case. I think that so many homes out there have far abused that kind of vulnerability that we practice in our homes, and we see it everywhere, we hear it everywhere, and it's very, very sad. However, we cannot take away the design na ganun dapat ang pamilya. And paano ko to natutunan sa anak ko? Love you. So you want to show me my love? Yeah. There was one time na I don't even know why we had to leave him with my family, no. Nandito yung mga kapatid ko from the US. I stepped out, tapos yung time na yun kasi may pigsa siya sa paa niya, sa legs niya. Habang wala kami, sabi ng kapatid ko, they had to squeeze it out and then apply medicine and then put bandage on it. And I think that it was so painful that all of my family had to comfort him and keep him okay until I got home. In one of those times na ako naman yung naglilinis nung naging sugat nung pigsa niya, nililinis ko, tapos nilalagyan ko ng gamot and then bandage. Sabi niya sa akin, "Mama, family can does this to you, no?" And I was just so taken aback with that statement na, yeah, no, yun yung nagmarka sa kanya. Yun pala ang pamilya. Na kapag nasa pamilya mo ikaw, doon ka pwedeng maghilom, doon ka pwedeng gumaling, at lahat nagsasama-sama para sa kabutihan mo. And again, sadly, this is not the reality for all of us. We don't all come from like safe families and safe homes. But when we do it right as a family, it's actually such a beautiful thing. And I think my family is like that to me. I am grateful to my family that, even we're not the most perfect people on earth, we also cared enough for each other and loved each other enough to give us what we needed whenever we needed healing. And even if that meant space. Second thing Mana taught me, love does not need a reason because love is reason enough. But my second born is someone who just freely expresses everything that is in his heart. And one time he said, "I love you, Mama." And then I said, "I love you too." And I said, "But why do you love me?" And then his answer was like, "Because I want to. Mama, don't ask. Because I want to." And natigilan ako talaga nung sinagot niya yun sa akin kasi parang naisip ko, oo nga bakit ko ba iniisip na kailangan may rason ka para mahalin ako? Huh?
I'm saying you said because I love you.
Oh, come here.
Oh, stay on your side because I love you. Can you give Mama a kiss? I love you so much. Thank you.
Love should be freely given. It shouldn't really cost us in that sense na parang kailangan kong bayaran ng isang bagay kasi hindi yon pagmamahal kung hindi shopping yon shopping. When somebody says I love you to you, you just rest in knowing that I don't have to ask why and that this person is actually just delighted in loving you, that there is no other reason to love you. When we found out that we were having a boy, we immediately asked God for names, and one of the things that he gave me was Emmanuel. I had to fight it in the shower every day. I remember having him in my womb as, flat as it was in the beginning. Hanggang sa lumaki ng lumaki, daily I would cry in the shower and say, Lord, this baby is gonna live. He is from you. Emmanuel, you are with us. And that is how the first name came about, Emmanuel. I sensed deeply within me that God was gonna be with us throughout the pregnancy, that he was gonna let this baby go. The second name of my son is Raphael, which means God heals. And at that time, I was taking so many medicines just to keep him in the womb safe. As in, I remember my first trimester wherein hindi talaga ako makakain na ng breakfast kasi feeling ko sa dami ng itlog na kinain ko for protein, tapos ang dami ko pang malalaking medicines to support the pregnancy. Feeling ko wala ng space yung tiyan ko para kumain ng anything else. Sukang-suka na ako with all the medications and everything that I had to do to keep myself healthy for this baby. I was doing that because I knew that I had a condition. I had an autoimmune condition that could be causing my miscarriages. And so I was advised a certain kind of diet and all that. I just remember thinking, Lord, I really am believing that this child is going to bring healing into my life. That when he comes, that he comes with the healing that you have for my body. And I was just really thinking of, sana mahil na yung condition ko na yun. Yun lang. Ganun kasimple. Physical, very physical yung iniisip ko.
Lord.
I wanted to see you. Philip, I've been waiting for.
Little did I know that upon his arrival will also be the beginning of my mental health struggles. If you guys haven't seen, we've already vlogged about this kami ng asawa ko, that I went through a really, really tough time. For about 3 years, I was in a dark, dark place, and I really contemplated a whole lot of things, including passive suicidal thoughts. And that is part of Manu's story of my healing. I didn't know that when I named him Raphael, that this was also going to be very significant in my life, in the sense that I'm not only going to be healed physically from my autoimmune condition, what have you, but also even mentally and even spiritually, because we are interconnected beings, so one affects the other. I didn't know, napapasok pa lang pala talaga ako sa isang very, very dark period in my life, that, when I was very much in it and he was already out of my womb. You know how infants are, how newborns are. They're just so helpless. They really can't do anything without you. They're so attached to their moms that, it, no matter how tiring that season was, it actually helped me to stay alive.
Haven't met you yet. Boom, boom, boom.
Because of what has happened to us in that season, and to me specifically, I would think na, Lord, bigyan mo na lang ako ng sakit kasi pagod na ako. Kasi hindi naman ako kailangan dito. At that time, yung overwhelming feeling ko was, hindi naman ako kailangan ng asawa ko. And at that time also, my firstborn was already becoming more of a boy than he is a baby. He's no longer a toddler. He was getting out of it. and he was becoming more attached to his dad. And learning to diversify his relationships and not only depend solely on his mom. So imagine all of that at once and communicating to me that we don't need you anymore. Wala ka nang silbi dito. If anything, baka nuisance ka pa. Baka disturbo ka pa sa mga plano namin. And so I was really feeling that. Plus, you can just imagine, postpartum anxiety and depression. Kasi yung hormones mo, di ba, fluctuating pa, all over the place pa siya. And then you've got a baby to take care of. And all of that stress causing me to think that I think the world is gonna be a better place if I'm not around. And I didn't know until much, much later na yun pala ang tinatawag nating passive suicidal thought. I didn't really have any plan in place. I didn't think of pursuing it naman. But I always prayed that, God, maybe you can make me sick so I can go na. But the funny thing is, every time I would say that, another thought would come into my head and I'd look at Manu. Dede? As small as he was, thinking that, but he's so small. No one can take care of him like I do. And of course, whenever I look back now, it was such a sad thing pala. Back then, wala. Parang almost very stoic lang ako na I would say it and rehearse it in my head. As though matter of fact lang yung mga bagay-bagay.
Oh, you're trying to talk.
Now I know how deep that was and how God saved me through the life of my son, and that's why I call him my hero. He's really naiyak ako. He likes wearing capes and pretending to be Spider-Man and all that.
But then you don't allow me. That's a good idea.
Captain America, and I always think that my baby really was like a hero that God gave me. And because he was really saving me from thinking that I'm not important or I'm not needed. Ayoko umiyak sa vlog.
My birthday is gonna be so happy.
Here was my newborn telling me that, but you can't go because you're my world. My world revolves around you. And I think that's a great lesson for all of us that, sometimes we feel worthless and that the world doesn't need us because we're focusing on a world that doesn't really need us, that doesn't appreciate us, that doesn't celebrate us. But if you focus instead on the world or worlds where, you are valued, you are treasured, regardless of what you do, regardless of you just, at that point, I was just really making padede and changing nappies and all that. I didn't look $1 million girl because I was fat and parang lang akong fly on the wall. And yet, whenever he looked at me, he looked as if, I just can't live without you. I think that's every newborn I know.
Who's 4 years old today?
Just give everyone the candy and I'll give the rest to me. I'll give all of the candy to my cousins and 50 cousins and I'll take the rest.
Well, it's your birthday. When he was at 4 months, bigla na lang parang nag-dry up yung milk ko. Ipinaghanap ko talaga siya ng milk donors. Diyan po ako nag-start matutong sumakay ng angkas. And I would ride the angkas, bring a cooler with me, get the milk bags of somebody who's, donating fresh milk fresh human's milk to me and bring it back in a cooler on Anangkas in no time. It was such a tough journey for me. Never got mad at him, but I really got exhausted. There was a point where my husband was really sobrang busy na nung nag-pandemic at natigil lahat ng trabaho. Ang sinabi niya sa akin ay, ang sarap palang makita yung mga anak ko na may araw pa. Because prior to that, he would leave the house when it was still dark and come back when it was already dark again. Those were seasons where he valued his work more than he valued us. And I supported it because I felt like, but that's right, diba? I did feel like something was off about it, but I was thinking, but it can't be bad. I mean, like, that's work. And then Manu comes along and breaks all of that. And just cries and makes life hard for us until we had to learn to readjust our lives to accommodate a second child. But after a while, we realized that this is actually what needs to be done. Dapat pala ganito yung balanse ng buhay. Actually, dapat pala kung hindi mo talagang mababalanse yung buhay, pipiliin mo kung ano yung una sa listahan mo. At dapat hindi nahuhuli ang pamilya. We all thank Manu for that. Because if he didn't come along and he wasn't that difficult, we would not have stopped ourselves from doing all the unnecessary things or all the secondary things before the primary things.
Baby movie.
Alright, you can blow the candle now, Manu.
Yay!
And now, the smashing!
Oh no, this is the best
Wait, you
part
wanna take this out?
Kill him! Hawakan mo ka baka malagyan ng mga chocolate!
I think I've said enough of the 4 things that my second born has taught me, and my prayer is that on his birthday, he is also able to share these 4 things with you and that it would make an impact and difference in your life. You are a precious person. You're also worth celebrating. And I don't know what you are specifically going through right now, but whatever it is, I am praying that these 4 things will shine a light in the dark parts of you today, and it would somehow cause a breakthrough in your season right now. God bless you, and I thank God for you as much as I thank God for the way that He gave me my second-born, and He gave His only Son, Jesus, through which all things are made possible. Thank you for watching the vlog, and I'll see you again next week.